Now, when you're traveling with your dog, you've got to make sure by law that they're kept safe and secure. Now, there's lots of different types of seat belts available. This particular one here goes into the main seat belt and then it clips onto a harness. Now, when you're looking at a harness that you buy for your dog, it's quite narrow. And also they're designed for moving your dog on the walks, on the long lead, things like that. And also, something you can just hang on to, just to keep them close to you. They're not actually tested for in a car accident. So imagine you had a car accident. If your harness is only about that wide, is it strong enough? Is it going to secure the dog okay? Because even on a very low speed, Hetty here is going to be pushed around really, really fast. So, if you're looking at a normal seat belt, you wouldn't bodge up one of these seat belts to have something much narrower. The reason they're wide and the reason they work the way they are is, because they're tested. Now, this is a proper dog seat belt. It's been tested. It's gone through all of the main tests that you would do with a human seat belt. So it's relying on giving a much wider strap to go onto the dog. So imagine you did hit into a wall at 70 miles an hour. You've got 20-25 kilos of dog hurtling at 70 miles an hour trying to stop. Now, if you've got a very small harness, then on something like a dog's leg, it's just going to break its legs. But also, you're going to get major rib damage and all sorts of very, very horrible injuries. So you may be okay. You've got the airbags, you've got seat belts, and you'll probably be fine. Whereas the dog, maybe not, because on that harness, it's just so much stress and pain and trouble on the actual body itself. So this type of harness is slightly different. It's, as you see, just like normal seatbelt material. You clip it in place. There are 4 sizes. You've got to make sure you get the right size for your dog, so make sure you fit it correctly. Hetty here is in a medium one. Easy to use clips, and it literally, the main seat belt just clips into it. Now, it is worth mentioning with this, if you have the older type, this type of clip here, now if the dog did chew through this, then obviously that's all you're replacing. Whereas if Hetty was to chew through the main seat belt, then obviously you're going to need to replace the entire seat belt on the car. So that's probably the only downside. But these are once your dog's used to laying. Now with Hetty, get in the car, and as you can see, she just lays down and goes to sleep. She's no problem. But it allows her still to move about, but gives all the benefit of the seat belt, that if there was an accident, it's going to kick in and hold her in place. It gives her the freedom to move around the back seat wherever she needs to, up to the extent of the seat belt. So these things are worth considering. It is a much safer way to transport your dog if you put them onto the back seat. Now, while we're talking about seat belts, a couple of things you must never do. Now, we have seen someone doing this actually after an accident has done it. They literally just took one of these types of lead and they clipped it round the neck collar of the dog. Now, you imagine if you hit even at 20 miles an hour, the dog is only being held by its neck, a 20-mile-an-hour impact. I mean, you could literally kill it. It's that serious. So never, ever put any type of seatbelt just around its neck. If you want more information on these, contact us. They're a good extra thing to have once your dog's a little bit bigger and able to wear a seatbelt and sit on the back seat with no problems at all. The other final thing you wouldn't want to do with these is put dogs in the front seat. Front seat is a really bad move because, you've got to make sure the dog's controlled. You don't want any distraction to you as a driver, but also you've got airbags and that as well. And airbags are designed for humans. They're not designed for dogs. It's bad enough sometimes with some of the side airbags and things like that you have for modern cars. But yeah, don't transport the dog in the front with these. Always put on the back seat.